Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of From Page to Stage. I'm your host, Wendy Corner, and this podcast is for you if you're an entrepreneur. Yes, page and stage come together in entrepreneurship. And you may be going, what? Well, think about the page bit. You may have a solo book out, you may have a contributory book out, you may have a regular blog. If you're an entrepreneur, you've got socials, haven't you? And what's that if it's not published work? Did you realize you're an author? Haha, tick that box. Great. Well, what about the stage thing? Well, a lot of people come to me going, oh, public speaking, I can't do that. And my response is, can you have a one-on-one conversation with somebody? Yeah. Then you can do a podcast, just like we're doing now. So what's stopping you? I want to expand your horizons when it comes to both page and stage. Okay. Now, today, I have been trying to chase this lady down for a few months. This is my dear friend Sophie Lechner. Lechner?
Lechner.
Lechner, forgive
Forgot to tell
me.
you.
It's the full German version. I didn't know whether you'd anglicized it.
Hmm.
Okay, Sophie Lechner. And Sophie, I know about that much of her, a little bit more than many of my guests, but she obviously knows a lot more about herself than I do. So, Sophie, I'm going to pass the buck over to you. Tell us a bit about yourself and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Wendy. I'm very excited. Like you said, we've been scheduling this for a while, so I'm glad to be here. So I like to start with my birth. I'm half French and half Pakistani, and the reason I talk about that is because that's where I got my passion for connecting with people all over the world. We traveled when I was a kid, and we met with family and old friends of my parents and stuff like that. And I just loved meeting people all over the place. And so I knew that I wanted to grow up, like continue being in a global environment. So I went to work for global companies. And when I was at Pfizer was when LinkedIn was launched. And I got passionate about LinkedIn because all of a sudden it was this sort of extension to what I loved doing. And that allowed me from my cubicle at work to connect with people worldwide and continue having conversations. And so for the longest time, it was like a hobby. It was something that I did not for work, but just for me, for the fun of it, right? So I would
Mm-hmm.
not write articles so much at the time, but share them and just have conversations for fun. And we'll probably talk about how I got into coaching, but after many years, that's what I ended up doing is being a LinkedIn coach after many adventures on the way. And so now I am a LinkedIn and marketing coach because through the way I approach LinkedIn, I realized I actually have a different way of doing marketing than most people.
Ooh.
And so I have taken that, and this could be your next question maybe, but I've taken that and put it into a book.
Well, mm, okay. Well, let's go there first then. Ordinarily, I'll ask you, I want to take you back in time first before we get to that beautiful end point. Come back with me in time.
Yeah.
When did you get the idea that this writing thing was actually something you enjoyed and you're quite good at it? I mean, I know we all started the mechanics around the same age, but
Yeah,
did you journal through
that's
school? Did
funny.
you have articles on the wall, stories on the wall? Tell us about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. So I was a law student and then I became a lawyer. And as you know, there's a lot of writing involved in legal work.
Yes.
And I was always pretty good at it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, now that I think about it, when I was a kid, I really enjoyed writing essays. I hadn't thought about all this. So I loved writing essays, and I had a teacher who said that when he piled up, everybody's essays, that I don't know how I found out about this. Maybe he told my mom told me or something. He wouldn't have told me. But anyway, he would keep mine and my best friends for the last because they were always the best.
Oh, lovely. Save the best till
I'd
last.
completely, I'd completely
Fabulous.
forgotten about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I used to write these very long, like wacky essays with very lots of imaginary stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, you've obviously got the gift of writing and being able
Mm,
to express yourself on paper. So, okay,
mhm.
that's kind of segueing into tell us about this book that you've got out,
Yeah.
one
So,
that's sitting behind
between
you on your shelf.
yes, it is. It is right there. Um, it had never occurred to me to write a book, honestly, until so I was coaching LinkedIn, and my clients kept telling me, "You're showing us so much more than just how to use LinkedIn." And they were having a lot of successes in their business. And it was becoming apparent that it was more than just using LinkedIn that was causing these results. And
Okay.
so I conducted a lot of interviews of my clients and past clients and really looked at what is so different. And I was able to put all of that into a model called the magnet model because it's all about attracting people and not pushing and all this.
Hmm.
And once I had the model, then I was applying it sort of intentionally with the labels and the strategies and all the words and structure around it.
Uh-huh.
So I was coaching the same thing I was doing before, but now it had a name, it had this structure.
Mm.
It became even more powerful. And people kept telling me, well, you need to write a book, you need to share this, you need. So I said, yeah, I do. So I decided to write the book, and there we are.
Okay. When did that come out?
It came out in March of 2025, so it's going to
Uh-huh.
be a year soon. And I
Well,
have to
happy
say,
birthday in advance.
thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna do a little celebration around it.
Yes,
Don't know
absolutely.
quite what, but yes, I'm gonna have a party.
Well, proud
Um,
mama is going to have a birthday
yes,
party for her baby.
exactly.
Absolutely. You just
Yes,
reminded me, I'm going to flag that up for me too. Thank you.
yes. We need to
Okay.
celebrate these things for sure.
Good grief, yes, absolutely. Well, as you
Yep.
said, any mum would celebrate her little one's birthdays.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
exactly.
definitely. Okay. So the book came out, and that's all about your magnet model.
Yes, it
Audience,
explains. Yeah,
go
yeah.
and check out Sophie's LinkedIn profile. It's the information's in the show notes. Actually,
Mhm.
on her even on the banner, there's a little icon of a magnet. So you do not have any doubt that this is where this lady's at. Brilliant. Okay.
Yes.
So that's kind of where the writing started. So has it always been technical writing? I mean, I know you were saying you were doing essays when you were at school.
Yeah, other than writing for the legal profession, I didn't really do writing of any kind more than just regular whatever you need in daily life.
Yeah.
Yeah, until this book, pretty much. Yeah.
Have you been a contributory author in a blue book?
Actually, yes. It's a good thing you're
Right.
here with your questions because I'm forgetting half the stuff. I did contribute to a book about 2 years ago,
Uh-huh.
and then another one last year. So yes, I'm
Ooh.
kind of forgetting those.
So you have two contributory books out, got the
Yes,
teeth in,
yes, that's
and a
true.
solo book.
That's true.
And I think we've got something else coming up, haven't we?
Yes, we do. Yep.
Tell us.
So when I wrote my book, it's a very practical book. Some people
Mhm.
say it's like having you coach us, but in a
On the
book.
shoulder. Sophie on your shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of exercises and examples and questions. Questions is my passion. I ask questions. People tell me I ask good questions. So my book is full of questions. And it became apparent that having a workbook with all the questions in one place would be useful. So
Okay.
I created a PDF with all the questions and, all the exercises. The thing grew into a monster 200-page PDF.
Okay,
But
that's big.
that's big. So it was available for free download. It still is, by the way, for the next few weeks. And people started downloading it and using it and all this. But I realized some people told me, and I kind of read between the lines, that it was a bit too much to go through the whole thing, and it was
Ah,
just hard to go through.
yeah.
So I said, but I need to have this companion workbook. I really need to do it so that people who want to go through the book and apply this method to their business have what it takes, what they need to apply it. So I've been doing a lot of work to take all of those exercises and break them down, organize them, create little videos, put it into chapters, do this week and that next week, and then put
Mhm.
action items. So like there's a lot of richness that I've added to it. So
Mm.
it's not just a long piece of work to do. And it's now going to be published.
Okay. I'm curious because you mentioned videos, and
Hmm.
yet this is a physical thing, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
How does that work?
Yeah, so I'm creating these videos, and then at the beginning of each chapter, there's a QR code that allows you to just take your phone and briefly watch this video. It's going to be, most of them are between 5 and 8 minutes, just to kind of get you thinking about, okay, what's the big picture where I'm going with this chapter? What's the end goal? And roughly what's going to be the process. So you kind of know what's coming
Yeah.
before you dive into the work.
And Sophie's voice in front of you, on your shoulder, and
Yes,
all round. So it's a
yes, yes.
multimedia thing. I love that because
Yeah.
you're not doing an online version on this one, are you? Because it needs to
No.
be something you can physically do. Yeah.
Yeah, it really wouldn't make sense. It's the whole idea is you have the thing in front of you and you write. And there are still some downloadables because there's things you need to do on a regular basis. So there's pages
Okay.
that you would need to photocopy. So I've created downloads. There's
Oh,
33 downloads.
right. This really is quite a task, isn't it?
In my estimation, if you want to do this and do it right and apply the magnet model in your business, to have it completely implemented would take a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is not a quick fix magic wand job.
Yeah. And I know that's not so palatable for a lot of people. So I've tried to crunch it. I've tried to do a course, over 2 months,
Mhm.
the whole thing. It just, no, it's
No.
it's a lot of reflection. It's a lot of thinking things through, redefining success, redefining what you want from your business, who you want to work with, going back into your story to figure out your unique positioning. It's a
Mhm.
lot of deep work,
Yes.
but it makes all the difference in my opinion. So,
I
yeah.
mean, it's a tortoise and hare thing, isn't it? I mean, we live in an age of instant gratification, and yet we've got
Mm.
that wonderful story of the tortoise and the hare that you
Hmm.
plod your way through it,
Yeah.
and that's what works in the end. As you
Yeah.
say, not exactly palatable in the ta-da
Yeah.
age that we live in.
Mm.
My question for you then is, can people get hold of you for asking questions?
Yes. So
Right.
there's multiple ways. Of course, I have, fairly high ticket mastermind programs and things like that to do the work with me
Right.
in your pocket all the time. But it's very important to me that this work be um, accessible to anybody. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why the workbook, that's why I'm creating other assets. So I'm creating a series where you can sign up and for free or maybe low cost, you can get an email each week of what the work is that week. So kind of a companion to the companion workbook, right? Um,
Yes. Just in case you've kind of forgotten, oh, this week we should be working on this activity. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of accountability to yourself, a bit of a
Mm-hmm.
reminder, because it's easy to take a workbook and do the first chapter and then have it sit there, right? So if you get these
Yes.
emails, so I've thought about all the possible ways that you could do this, that I could support people
Mm-hmm.
in a free or low cost way. So
Mm.
also when the workbook comes out, I'm going to be launching a community. This is the first time I say this publicly. Uh,
Oh, we've got an exclusive.
yes, we got an exclusive. Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's going to be a community that's going to be a low cost monthly fee
Hmm.
membership. So you can be working with other people. You can create your own little accountability pods.
Mm.
There will be an opportunity to ask me questions in a, ask me anything Q&A office hour thing.
Yeah.
There will be co-working, which I already offer co-working for two
Hmm.
hours every month. Anybody's welcome to join, so I'll give you the link.
Thank you.
So all these different things and videos of the chapters and ways to kind of do the work by yourself if you want
Mm.
to. That's if that's what you want.
Mm.
Yeah.
A phenomenal project.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations, love. That's really good. Oof.
Thanks.
Blow your socks off, hey, audience. Now, do we have a projected date for this? I mean, obviously, how long's a piece of string? Except that your string has a finite end. We realize
Yes.
that. So, do you have a projected date?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be late February, something like that.
Okay. So, within the first quarter.
Oh, definitely my goal is for the first quarter, for sure.
Okay. Cool.
And then I
Cool.
have something else in my bellywick. You want to hear? You
Oh,
want to hear?
oh.
You're gonna love this because the power of words and all this. I'm also writing a novel. Yeah.
But this is why I was going to with the technical writing because obviously and your early stuff, which was more creative writing. So
Yep.
we haven't lost the creative
Yes. No, no,
writing
no. In fact,
juice.
a couple of years ago, I started, I don't know what came over me. I was talking to someone who, anyway, I started writing a book, like a novel, like a
Uh-huh.
espionage film noir kind of ambiance, which was, and
Ooh.
then I dropped it because I said, okay, rather than that, I need to write this book. So I wrote the book. But in the back of my mind, this one is different. It's not, it's the story of, so in my book, I've illustrated sort of the typical entrepreneurs that I've come across, and I've sort of categorized them into four different buckets.
Is
And
this the impact book or is this your novel we're talking about?
no, so I'm going back to my book, the
Okay. The
existing
impact.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah, Unlock Your Impact. And so in the introduction, in the first few chapters,
Hmm.
created this categorization to help people, understand the
Identify.
background. Yeah.
Got it.
And because it was a little bit dry to talk about categories, I decided to give them names. And
Oh.
so there's four people, and then I don't talk about them again in the book. So one day it came to me, I'm going to take those four people. In fact, I've already written the novel. I just need to fine tune it. I couldn't stop myself.
Ooh.
So it's those four people, and then now I've given them a life and, a family and a location and all kinds of circumstances. I made them come alive, which was really exciting. And it's the story of how they come across, well, first of all, they meet and they decide to have a mastermind. So the book's going to be called The Mastermind. And they come across these different tools, which happen to be the things in the book, and they apply them and they help each other, they support each other, and then they go through all the things that, entrepreneurs go through, mindset issues, discouragement, all this other stuff. And then you know, you have to,
It's an allegorical version of
yeah,
Unlock Your Impact.
exactly. Yep.
How clever is that?
It's fun. It's
Oh,
fun.
it's genius.
Thank you.
It's
I'm
genius.
I'm hoping it brings it like it creates an ecosystem. So I'm envisioning it in a way that if people read the Unlock Your Impact book, they can read this and sort of see it come to life. If
Yes.
they don't read the book but come to the novel first, they might be intrigued and want to buy the book. So that's my thought. We'll see what happens.
I'm
Meanwhile,
sitting
I'm
here
having
in
fun.
it's great. Well, I'm sitting here in that total awe, thinking that is fantastic.
Thank
Love
you.
it. Love it.
Yeah.
And as you've actually written it already and you're tweaking it, do we have a projected date for that one? Putting you on the
That's
spot
a
here.
harder one. I would love to have it out by the summer, but I'm probably being unrealistic and it'd probably be the fall
Third
because,
quarter.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Once,
This year, 2026.
yeah, like once the workbook is out, in my
Yeah.
mind, it's like, okay, I put it on the shelf. Now I'm working on the novel, but that's not
Yes.
real life, right? Like you have to feed your baby and change the
Market
nappies.
it and wonderful jazz of that. Yeah. On that
So,
front, then, we've talked lots about your wonderful work in the written department. Tell us about your speaking journey because you also speak
mhm.
from stage, don't you? And by
So,
stage, I mean the wider connotation of that. Tell us about your speaking journey.
yeah. So I do hold workshops once in a while, not as often as I probably could and will do more. But I love to have workshops where I pick a topic and I have people come in and I explain the background and then we do some exercises and people share. So I do that occasionally.
Physically or online or both?
No, no, online,
Online.
all
Mhm.
online. Yeah, yeah. I do a lot of podcasts.
Mhm.
I get invited to podcasts and I'm looking to do more of those, continue doing
Mhm.
those. I'm currently applying to speak at in-person events as well as online events. In fact, maybe we should talk about that offline so you could help me a bit.
Sure.
Um, and I have had in the back of my mind the desire to do a podcast. So what you said in your introduction, I was like, do you have Zoom? Can you have one-on-ones? I'm like, okay, maybe I should do a podcast.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, with regard to setting up your own podcast, the main thing is who's it aimed at? Is
Hmm.
there an audience? Do you want to do it as a guest thing or are you wanting to do it as a
Yeah.
solo thing? There are lots of questions to ask because the thing is, there are lots of podcasts.
Hmm. Yes.
And as long as you're clear who it's aimed at, what your
True.
message is, how you want to put it out there,
Yeah.
and the marketing, which I think you've got that bit taped.
Once I get it done, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's more of a passion project, but I'm sure it
Yeah.
could connect back to my work. So
Well, I'm sure you could have four characters and you could pop your characters in there and talk to the
that could be
character
fun.
across the camera.
Yeah. Well, it's never been about me talking. I don't want to do a solo podcast. That's
Sure.
totally not the point for me. For me, it's all
Mhm.
about conversations and connections. That's what all my work is about. So I think it would be more around interviewing people and asking them all the questions I ask in that chapter where I call it the golden thread, uncovering the golden thread. It's going back to their story, a little bit like what you did with the essays and, like
Mhm.
what you asked me, which
Yeah.
we come up with the essays thing. Um, I find that people don't look back in their story enough to kind of dig out all the different dots that they could connect,
Mm-hmm.
explain why they do what they do, why they're so passionate, where it came from, because to me that is so central, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So
it. I mean, as far as the you and I both know, and an audience, I'm sure you know this too. People will buy your why before you'll buy your what.
yeah,
So if you can explain your why, and generally your why is because of something you have experienced in your own life,
yeah,
and that's why you're passionate about it, and
yeah,
that's why you want to share the wisdom that you've gained from it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
this is something that I have said, blowing the face, that business owners need to tell their story. Now,
Yeah.
the issue is for a lot of people that's come from a place of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And when I've mooted the idea that you really need to tell your story, or don't want to go there,
Mm-hmm.
when I work with speakers and I put people who are on stage wherever it happens to be
Mm-hmm.
under that category of speakers, I say to them, look, I have a duty of care with you, self imposed maybe, but I don't want you to re-traumatize yourself in the telling of your tale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you get stuck in the miry mud, you're not going to be clear enough. Your audience is going to
Mhm.
go, oh,
I know.
and they're not investing their time and
Yeah.
possibly their money as well for you to go through therapy in front of
Yeah.
them. That's not
No.
the idea. So I'm very clear that when we work together, we language it in such a way that you can still get the message across from your scars, not your wounds.
I was going to tell you that's a saying that I've found so helpful is
Yes.
when you feel something still hurts, then don't talk about it. You have to heal first.
Yeah, you got to do the work.
Hmm.
Absolutely, you got to do the work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that, I mean, that's something I'm very clear on, and I've done it myself because in the early days when I was telling my origin story, oh, every
Mm,
time I told it,
mm.
I was shrinking.
Yeah, that's actually something very important for me to consider as I consider
Mm.
this podcast because I hadn't thought of this. So it's a big one
Yeah.
to
Well, I
how,
mean, as I
how to
said,
be.
the way I work with people is I language it in such a way that they can still speak from the
Mm,
emotion without deep diving into it and doing the
right.
re-traumatization.
But
Because
it's going to take some preparation if I'm going to do that because I can't just go on screen, so to speak, and then start saying, well, what happened here and what happened there, which
yeah.
was, kind of my thought. But yeah.
But I mean,
So,
that's the point. One of the things that I say to entrepreneurs about sharing your story on a podcast, if they go, well, I don't want to go there. Well, we can do some work together.
mm-hmm,
I can help you to craft what you're saying. And it won't just be for this podcast, it'll be for any podcast, it'll be for
mm-hmm,
any presentation that you do
mm.
because your story is so powerful.
Yeah, and it's not about therapy, it's about parsing out what is private versus what is okay to share and maybe phrase it a certain way and maybe share
Yes.
pieces of it, but not the whole thing. Right. Yeah, no,
Well,
that's
that's the other thing. I mean, there are some people who will just overshare.
yeah, no, that's
And the listener was going, I didn't sign up for this.
yeah, no.
And
TMI.
exactly,
Yeah.
what do you expect me to do with that?
Yeah.
And that immediately creates a disconnect between you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of the things I'm very keen on when working again with speakers is that you have this heart to heart connection.
Mm-hmm.
You are present.
Yeah.
And if you've just dumped everything on the other person, they're going to go, I'm out
Yeah.
of here.
Yeah,
And
you
you,
have a duty of care to your audience as well. I mean, they could be triggered by what you say.
yes,
So that's very important. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
emotional
Fascinating.
stuff around that. Tell me, when you were working in corporates, did you have presentations to do?
Yes, I did, and I was extremely nervous, and I hated it, and
Mm.
I was very self-conscious. And
Okay.
it's been a very long journey for me to be able to speak, in public, I guess. When I started my first business before this one, I had a partner and I was much too shy to do any presentations. And so he was presenting, he was 20 years older than me. He'd been an executive. It was just like, okay, so you do the talking, you do the talking.
Yeah.
And then, but it was my company, it was me, primarily. And so I was like, okay, I need to talk, I need to talk. And it was so hard for me to do. So I remember the first time I was invited to do a podcast.
Mhm.
I was terrified. So I wrote out my entire script, 16 pages,
Oh.
and I learned it by heart completely and utterly. It wasn't a podcast, it was a presentation.
Mhm.
I learned everything. So I had my slides and I was talking and I rehearsed like crazy.
Did you
And
memorize it?
I memorized it mostly memorized it because,
Mhm.
seeing the slides and looking at the camera
Yeah.
and having my notes was so, but I was
Uh,
proud of myself because I said, at least I did it, even though I was
Yes.
absolutely petrified. I remember the person asked me and I was like, well, I can't say no. I just can't. I have to. And then I was like, oh, panic attack, the full-blown panic attacks and everything else.
Mhm.
But gradually I did a few more and a few more and a few more. And then one day I was organized a trip to Finland to go and speak. And I said to my partner, I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to speak. And it was an audience of like 200 people. Like when I got there, I saw the size of the room. I learned how many people were going to be there. I had no idea. I thought it'd be a small room with 20 people. And I got there, and it was the next day, and it's this amphitheater, and they're fixing this microphone on me, and there's people behind. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not what I signed up for. Panic attack again.
Oh, but you did it.
I did it. I did it.
Well
And
done.
very proud of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that.
You
So
know,
since then, I've done it many times.
the reason I'm asking about this also because Sophie, you went through school in France, yes?
Yes.
Now, an awful lot of my guests have grown up in North America, and part of the curriculum going through school is that they have to
Mm.
do class presentations.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we
No.
never had that in the UK. Did you
Yeah.
have that in France?
Oh, no. We did
No.
not. And not only we did not, but the whole system, the school system in France is that you should only raise your hand if you know you have the right answer. Yeah, you don't raise your hand
Oh,
if you don't know the answer. That's just like,
oh,
why would you even do that? Like even now I'm like, what? Yeah. So, and then if you raise your hand, you speak the answer and it's wrong, then you look really bad and you get not beat up physically, but like, looked down upon. So
yes.
the whole thing about speaking up is very, I could
Quite
say
sensitive.
traumatic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm fascinated by that, and thank you for sharing that. I mean, we didn't have that in the UK. Well, the school I was in, you were encouraged, although having said that, my primary school, up until the age of 11, yeah, the headmaster would call you a duffer if you got
Mhm.
it wrong
Yeah.
in front
There
of
you
the whole
go.
group.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. But
Imagine
it's
that now.
interesting because a lot of the North Americans had to do these class presentations, and
Hmm.
if they froze or they got really nervous, they were teased. And again, it was the oh,
Mhm.
I'm not doing that again.
Mhm.
Understandably.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I was at university before I ever had to do a presentation.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I never did presentations in school, in university, and in college. I'm trying to remember. Definitely not my undergrad and postgrad, MBA.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Strange.
Yeah.
It's interesting how we
Yeah.
global audience here having global experiences. I love it. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. So we've talked about your speaking journey. We've talked about your writing journey.
Hmm.
Talked about this wonderful workbook that's coming out and the novel on top. I think that's
Yeah.
genius. I really do. I think that's brilliant. When you go, oh, hang on, the other was one thing. You've also done a Blue Talks, haven't you?
Yes. Hmm.
Yes. So you
Yes.
have done a quite a large stage that's
Yeah.
been
Oxford University. I was at
Oxford
last
University.
October
Hmm.
2024, I guess. Yeah.
There you go. So we mustn't
Yeah.
forget that one. Hello, Oxford University.
Yeah.
So moving on from that, when you go from page to stage, because you've got your wonderful book, how do you embody your words?
Mm. It's, the words come from my heart. That feels very generic thing to say, but it's so deeply true. And so when I have a prepared talk like Oxford, same thing. I wrote it, I memorized it, didn't always remember it, but yeah, finally I memorized it. I craft it as well as I can in a way that's going to impact people,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a very different experience when you are on a podcast like this, right?
Yeah, this is a
So
conversation.
in when that's the case, when it's a more what's the word I'm looking for? Unprepared, like
Mm-hmm.
off the cuff.
Yeah.
I go back to the fact that I love conversations and connection and really connecting with someone. So I don't really think about the audience of the podcaster.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking about the person in front of me. Like you and I have talked about stuff like as if there was nobody here.
of course.
There isn't yet.
We got some eavesdroppers, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Let
yeah.
them in.
But it's really about that connection and sharing from the heart what I believe in. And and this is something that I teach my entrepreneurs and I talk about in my book is when you are able to understand what it is you're passionate about, then that's the energy that you pull from when you're speaking, when you're selling, when you're presenting, when you're talking to people. And that's actually what makes marketing fun and what makes it fun for you to do your business. And that
Mm.
takes us, full circle back to
Nicely
my
back.
book, which is, the roadmap to magnetic client attraction for entrepreneurs who hate marketing. That's the problem I found in my audience is they hate marketing. Why?
Mm.
Because we've been taught all these things that we talked about. We've been taught that marketing should be about selling, about pushing, about convincing. It's all these tactics and the tripwires and this, that, and the other. And really, when you're able to distance yourself from all of that stuff and go back to your passion and you're connecting with people, that's when you're able to invite people into your world. And that's how you can do marketing in a way that's going to be sustainable because you love it and it's not this thing that you hate and that's going to burn you out. So,
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah,
Oh,
convoluted way of saying.
well, no, I mean, it's all
Look,
roads. Really, I mean, as you said, it's coming full circle. So
yeah.
this is where that you've actually now beautifully drawn the circle around the magnet, and
Mhm.
I love that. That's gorgeous. Thank you. So as we're winding up, then, have you got any final words of wisdom for us?
Well, yes, I'd say if you're an entrepreneur and especially when you're, you've got a message to share because if you're thinking about writing and being on stage and speaking and all of this, you have a big message, right?
Mm.
When you're setting up your business, remember to start from yourself. Not a lot of people say start from your audience. What do they need? What are their pain points? Yes, that's important, but start with you. What is the life you want? Who do you want to help? How you want to help them? But what do you want your life to look like? And
Mm.
starting with that is, I think, one of the best ways to avoid burnout because you'll have your boundaries, you'll be clear on what fits and what doesn't fit within this picture of what you want your business to look like. I think what happens to a lot of business, uh, people who set up a business, entrepreneurs, is they think of the audience, they're there with their generosity, and they start to give and to do, and before you know it, you've lost the dream that you had. Either you don't make as much impact as you wanted, or you're making a lot of impact, but you're burning out. So remember to start with this clear picture of what you want for yourself and then go and give to others.
Mm. Then you can give from an overflowing cup.
Exactly. I was going to say it, but you said it. Perfect.
Thank you. Oh, Sophie, I've loved this conversation. I'm so glad we got it together. And we'll look, audience, because we know you're there. What will happen is in the show notes, we will put links to Sophie's, all of how you can get hold of Sophie, the link to the present book. And when she lets me know that the other book, the workbook, has
Thank you.
published, we will go back in and I will change the show notes. I'll do a quick socials blast and go, do you remember that conversation I had with Sophie? Well, go back and check the recording. And here's the link to the workbook. Go by.
Thank you, Wendy. That's terrific.
Very, very welcome. It's kind of what I like to do.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Sophie, for sharing your from
welcome.
page to stage.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
For now, though, bye from us.